There's something about you. And I got to learn a little bit about Hex. I actually officially have a little bit of Hex, which is exciting.
Nice.
Hey, let's go.
We'd love to hear that.
Let's go.
There's still some other steps that I need to do that I still haven't understood yet. So I still need to have a meeting with Roy. But I got to watch his talk at the Limitless event, which was really cool. He's, as I'm sure you know, a very animated and dynamic speaker. So it was very fun to see him speak and get a little bit of history on crypto, because it's all very, very new to me. So I appreciated that.
And after that, a little bit running around doing more. Do you do lots of expos when you're out and on the road, or are you kind of doing some other type of work?
So I made the last couple weeks, I made a couple stops. So I travel to some other states to see patients, just depending on how many, I do a lot of televisits, which is great. Then that's like a lot more access to, people are like, how do we see you? Well, we can do televisit, or I have some patients that actually want more of the hands-on side of things, or they can't make it to Arizona. So they'll, if I have a big enough group, I'll actually go out to them. So I went to New York City, which was awesome. I actually haven't been back there since before COVID. So it was, I was kind of like anxious to see what it would be like, but it was great, and so great to finally get back to see some of my, patients there. And so that was really, really nice. And I'm trying to think, like, I should be telling you something exciting about New York. I feel like everybody's kind of like, what's that like now? But I mean, I definitely, I'm here to talk about health, but I definitely splurged and I ate pizza and I had a bagel.
New York pizza. Yeah.
It was so good, but you feel it. Like, for people that are used to being in tune with their health, like when you kind of fall off, you definitely like don't feel the best after. Like, your body just, I know for me, just felt like achy or like just not peak performance. But it was good. I always say to patients, like, you need to balance, like, your spirit too, right? Like, I grew up, my parents were in the restaurant business, so we owned a pizza place. And so to be able to like eat pizza, like, fulfills my soul. And then, then jump back on the health kick to just rebalance it. You have to have that quality of life too. So that was my splurge. And then I went to Miami to go see more of my patients. So that was also great. I also saw some new patients when I was there. And I also went to a stem cell conference. So I sit on the ethics committee at the American Academy of Stem Cell Physicians. And so actually, we have not had a conference since before COVID either. So it was really great to go see kind of my cohort there and learn, some of the new things with stem cells and how powerful that side of, that I think is one of the most cutting edge sides of medicine, or we actually like to call them biologics. And, how powerful they can be in helping to like rejuvenate your body, and lots of other indications, which we can talk about at some point, but really cutting edge stuff, and all the, top doctors around that are part of this group. It's really cool to be able to share case studies with them. That was like a nice meeting as well. On a personal note, I was really hoping to have a beach day. That did not happen. I got 1 hour at the beach. Oh, that was good. I was happy to have 1 hour.
While we're on the topic of things that you love, there was a poll that you put out a week ago. Can we, while we're on the Twitter,
dude, thank you. I wanted to flex on this as well. I'll go and find it. I'll go and grab it. So yeah, dude, can you believe, I won't plot spoil who won. We'll just go and find it quickly first. It just simply said, and I forgot to tag Hex in here, so maybe this poll didn't get as many votes as it could have, but I just said, who rolls with hotter girls, Pleb Tangent or billionaire Richard Hart? And seriously, up until like the last, I don't know, I was asleep when the poll ended. But when I went to sleep, Richard was ahead by 1%. So somehow between then and the end of the final results, I took him out by 1% in terms of assessed hotness by the Hex
But it
community.
wasn't just like you had like some evidence. You had photographic evidence there. Like,
yeah, I mean, I posted.
It wasn't like people just had to guess like who fucking rolls does tangent roll with. No, there was something there for people to look at.
Afterwards, I said, because I noticed a lot of people were voting for Richard, and I was like, yo, I want to be clear about something. This is not how hot the girls that you perceive that he rolls with. This is crypto. We don't trust, we verify. So this is of girls that you've actually seen him rolling with. So I mean, look, I'm a little bit biased that my chick friends are like hot as fuck and also look even better than they do in photos. And also I've been also swayed by the amount of comments that I get externally, both from my in real life friends and people online, just getting their minds blown and saying that they are really hot. So I've obviously been impacted by that a little bit. And so yeah, I think I just did this poll just to try and like, I was confident that I was going to win when I posted it. And then I wasn't so sure in the midsection, and then just came through right at the finish line, you know? I just went hard. And this is what we're talking about right here. Like real crypto, no admin keys, no censorship, trustless yield, financial freedom. And so the ones that I expanded on were the ones in the middle, because obviously that's just the website, and financial freedom is not something that needs to be explained. It's the result of all these other attributes put together. But so I'll share those graphics on Twitter once we've launched the competition. And I think these to me are the most important aspects of Hex. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I think you nailed it right there.
Yep.
Yeah, spot on.
That no censorship and no admin keys for me is just right. I mean, I would say that those two in particular are what you would say a real cryptocurrency needs to have as an attribute, like those two. Whereas
like minimum requirement, like minimum requirement.
Minimum.
It's shocking that we even have to tell people that, like, it's shocking that we even have to parade this shit around as if it is an attribute that makes Hex amazing. All cryptos should have that by default. Like,
but they do not.
But they don't.
And this goes to what we were saying before about like there's plenty of scams out there, you know. Like when a crypto has admin keys, that allows whoever has control of those keys to be able to change things, right? And that's can lead. And then
it kind of depends. It depends on the keys as well, though.
It does depend what those keys do, but
like
as
not all keys are equal.
That's correct. That is correct. But as a general, I feel like we want to be always striving towards a crypto ecosystem that has, you know, products that have no admin keys, or if the admin keys have something behind it, which is, you know, maybe some sort of DAO or so. I don't know, but no admin keys is, for me, that's the gold standard. No censorship. You don't want something to be censorship. You want something to be censorship resistant. I should say.
Yeah. You want to make sure that it cannot be seized from you, and that no one can stop you from sending or receiving. That is, you know, that was one of the main innovations of Bitcoin. That was the whole point, was that censorship resistant value storage and transfer. That was the innovation.
Yeah. So a real world example of why this sort of thing is important. In Canada, they had like some truckers who were protesting, and what they were doing to these truckers and the people who were contributing to them is they were cutting off their bank accounts. They were shutting off their bank accounts, so these people could no longer then use their own money in their bank account to go and buy food and go and donate to these truckers. It was a peaceful protest as well. So that's why, you know, this is another reason why crypto, you know, that
I mean, this has been going for years as well. This has been going for years. There's Australian banks which like don't bank like tattoo parlors. and I think vape shops came on like were finding it very hard to get a bank
And
account
in the
there.
States, didn't early marijuana companies like sort of and even though they were actually legal, they were struggling with financial, and then sex industry, porn industry, like is in just it's absolutely
it already happens.
It's
and,
an overlay. It's an overlay of someone else's decision of what is moral and ethical. It's a subjective decision made on how we are allowed to conduct
It's also
ourselves.
business decisions. Like I remember them.
That's the point.
I remember them censoring a guy who had a business in Australia. His business was to refill cash machines, so he'd have to carry around heaps of cash. And
no, seriously, like the whales that we have in Hex should be on board with the, making Hex great again, and not with the I'm
How
preventing
do you know it's
it
a whale
from
wallet?
great
Did you
again.
do your chain analysis?
Cryptomatic, I have something for you.
Oh, Michael Jordan, stop it. Get some help.
Demonetized.
Like I'm good. I'm staked. Like I don't care what it is right now. I'm not selling or anything.
Yeah, but you do
I want
for
the
some
trend.
reason.
I do. Yeah, I do. I
I
care about
actually
it. So I
expected
wanted
some pullback, to be honest.
Of course.
Okay, show me on the chart where you are. Where are you? Where is anger?
I'm
at
at
angry.
time.
You're angry.
It's
Denial.
anger is not here. It's
More like
the...
fear. Yeah, there is no anger on it. So
You see?
Because
So this doesn't apply to me.
Chart.
Can
It's
I
a
can
genuine
I take,
where's
rant.
the anger part?
can I be the time at the
It's-
bottom? Maybe
Das
some
Baum,
of those dotted
das Baum,
dashes.
Das Baum.
Yes?
You have to pull up the Wall Street cheat sheet. There is the anger.
There's
phase.
anger.
There we
Short
go.
at the
Look,
market.
anger.
Why did the government allow this to happen? Exactly. The government should step into the Uniswap.
The government, man.
Clarification on crypto
government.
is around the corner.
Thank you, Alan, for the 5. But if you look closely, you can see an angry wick near despair. Yeah, it's a tiny, tiny tweezer bottom here. Tiny. Enhance. Zoom in. Zoom in. Enhance.
There we go. The anger. The finger is waving.
But you should have a vein in your forehead.
Yeah, like I can't even do that.
That's it. That's
It's too shiny. My shiny forehead. I can't even do that.
Nice. I like it.
This is cool.
Just like Moses divided the ocean, we
Yes.
divide the chat. And just like Hex is slowly dividing the Bitcoin wall.
I think these are the lows, and it will drag on some in these levels.
Still beautiful though.
Yeah.
Oh, why you no draw? Oh. Beautiful. Not you.
That's not people
Big red can. What?
panicking.
Those are Saudi moves.
Yeah, it's not people panicking. This
It's
is
Saudi money.
This is
Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah,
Those are the markets.
I can do that to the Hedron chart. Am I doing that? No.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should. Yeah.
Hedron was pumping hard, like 300% or something, right?
I can do that.
400.
I can bring that
from the
down.
Money
bottom.
to be made.
Trust me, I can
From
bring that
bottom.
down in one market order. Easy.
Hedron was pumping from the bottom to the top, like to the local top for 100%. Like, okay, some sell-off would be nice or expected.
I'm not gonna change my mind on that one, by the way. I think this is part of the standard distribution, like the same thing that occurred in Bitcoin over years and years and years.
Yeah.
Like you do need to have some kind of way of distributing the supply. There were the early people that had the millions. They obviously have a little bit of an advantage because they bought lower, but they also had the risk that they took on in the beginning. And now they're slowly distributing it. Just like you had people buy 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin in the beginning. 10,000 Bitcoin is a lot today. Like you can buy a lot more things for 10,000 Bitcoin.
Like 3 pizzas?
Made out of gold, platinum, and diamonds from space. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's possible, but good luck with the 1
Another
cent.
6. So all the dreamers want another 74% dump.
After a 90-something% dump. Yeah, that will happen. That will happen. For
After
sure.
94% dump, you want another 74
Hey
dump.
guys, go short it. go short the shit.
That seems adventurous.
It's
If,
I mean it's a
if I
sure
would say.
move. Like go
with
do an Eric Wall, short that shit.
With the diligent whales that we have in the community, it's possible.
I mean, yeah, some
Totally.
down could happen.
What's wrong with saying if you're a whale in Hex, you have a certain responsibility to protect it and not take advantage of it?
I don't think
What's
so.
wrong with
It's-
saying that?
Because
What's
it's
wrong with
just
making
simply,
money?
it's
It's
not
decentralized
practical.
and everybody can do what they want.
We all have to begin to prioritize our health and to, really look at the food that we're eating. So I'm just excited to learn about you, about your journey, and the work that you do. So I kind of just give the mic to you and just let you start where you want, and then we'll just throw some questions in here and there.
True. Thank you so very much. Again, a big shout out to all the work that the Black Hexagon is doing. I've seen all the influence that you've had. Somebody even sent me a picture of the card that you give out, which I thought was a very, very, very creative way of spreading the idea of Hex and the Pulse Hex, PulseChain also, and the work of brilliant work, I must say, of the master, Richard Hart. So my name is Jadi Kabui, and I was Kenyan born. I was born in Kenya, spent 20 years of my life in Kenya. And for the 20 years, I was born 5 years after my country became independent. It was a colony of the British. It had been colonized the British for 60 years by the time we regained our independence. And my parents had been deeply involved in the struggle for liberation, both my mother and father. And I mean deeply in what was an armed struggle. During that time, my father ended up spending 6.5 years in the British Gulag, which was like the concentration camp, of the British, as they tried to suppress the freedom of assembly and freedom of speech and freedom to livelihood of the Kenyan community, including my family. So I wasn't there, but I was born at the tail end of that resistance. So as I was growing up, the people I was growing up, both my parents as well as their friends, were people who are very, very deeply involved or affected by the struggle for liberation. So 10 years of my life in Kenya, I spent in a small village where my ancestors had been living for a long time, for maybe going back to 270 years of documented history. And, my mother was a farmer. We were growing coffee, and we were growing at least 95% of the food we ate. The people who lived around us were our families, all people we've been living around for a long time. There are other clans, which is just a bloodline of the most oldest member the people of that particular family can remember. So that's how the community was organized. So when the British came, they brought in a different kind of government system. So we had an indigenous system of everything. We had an indigenous educational system. We have indigenous religious or spiritual system. We had an indigenous government and also. So, but when the British came, they introduced an alien and British form of government and education, religion, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, so I'm saying that to say that when I lived in the village, we ate most of the food that we grew. We ate ourselves. It was my closest experience with what I have come now, as I've been educated in the West, to understand as a decentralized indigenous food system. So 10 years of my life, I lived there. We grew the food. We had animals. We had chickens. We had goats. We had rabbits. We had as for animals. We had sheep. At one time, my mother had raised pigs. Then for vegetables, we had all kinds of vegetables. We had potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, cassava, callaloo. We had pumpkins. We had all types of squash, all types of cocoyams. 3 different types of cocoyams I know. We had sugarcane. Then we had all kinds of vegetables we grew. We had fruits like avocados, macadamia nuts, lemons, oranges, guavas. We had all these kind of fruits, groundnuts, gooseberries. So I didn't realize I was living closest to paradise as I will ever do. Before that, what it did, it allowed for people to determine what is organic food legally. Once you determine what organic food is legally, that means if you sell me food that's not organic, I can take you to court. Before that, anybody could sell food and say, "Oh, it's organic, it's organic." And if it wasn't organic, then you had no recourse because there's no law you've broken. So anyway, so for that reason, I can just use this one as a way of explaining why I think that the education about food is really increasing. So more people are being aware of the impact of food, not only because of the Organic Food Act, but also because the bad food that's being sold, which is becoming more ubiquitous, has contributed to the increase of chronic illnesses in the United States. In 1974, the rate of chronic illnesses in the United States was 6%. Right now, is at 60%. 60% of all Americans have some kind of chronic illnesses. So that causes people, whether by default, whether by choice, or whether because of sicknesses, a lot of people have allergies. So they are being forced to really think carefully about what they can eat and what can eat.
So let's go.
The giant penis and wealth isn't doing it. What should I do next? So wait a minute. Somebody was that's so misquoted. Somebody told me that the marketing is not working. But this is not what he said. He said the giant penis and wealth isn't doing it. The outrage marketing is obviously working because he never had this many likes, retweets, and comments and whatever. So
but
this
he's
definitely works.
Suggesting
maybe
the
it's
tweaking of the outrage is what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe that's just he wants something new to outrage about.
Yeah.
Adding horse to the equation makes always better.
And cocaine.
Cocaine.
Oh, but horse and substances.
Oh, you mean horses?
Horses.
Horses and elephants, like the
What should I do next?
famous drug king.
Yeah, of course.
Road trip with hexologist.
Yes.
What?
I'm sure some of these are gold in here.
Oh, yes.
Now it's time to be real. Didn't read too long.
Oh, wow. Buying into it, huh? He's begging.
Oh, yes, here we go.
I think I remember...
Bulgarian-esque lifestyle. Get a yacht for a day or two once a month. Hire a videographer and photographer and get a ton of content which can be used for the next few months. Rinse and repeat. The guy has 32+ million followers on Insta. He's doing something right.
Yeah, a new testnet wouldn't hurt
Mr.
anyone.
Beast style giveaways. What would we do without the good old Mr. Beast just buying random expensive shit?
Yeah,
and giving it away for free.
If you remember, like when was it? Like 2 years ago, Richard asked on Twitter if it would be cool to give away Lambos.
But it's only like you cannot just give away a Lambo.
Share and subscribe. Yeah.
You can't just give away a Lambo? Why not?
Yeah, maintenance.
Insurance.
Yeah, that's like
Insurance.
the logical part. Insurance, maintenance, all that is really expensive.
Taxes.
Like usually the upkeep for anything that's motorized is like 5 to 10%.
But Lambos have to be like tuned up like every weekend or something, right?
Yeah, they have to be driven. It's like more expensive fuel. Whenever something breaks, the expenses to repair that, normal person usually can't afford that. And if you discount all that, let's assume you have enough money to have the ownership of the Lambo and be able to maintain it. It doesn't really help to just give it away. There also needs to be some kind of gain for Richard Hart or for the market itself, for the marketing itself. Like you need to have all the cameras in place, or it needs to be given to somebody specifically who is then forwarding it, right? He's sharing it. He is some kind of known person or something like that. If you just give your Lambo to a random person on the street and nobody knows about it, nobody's seen it, like there is no show around it or anything, it's just gone.
I think there would be a better way of disposing of a Lambo as a stunt, and that would be to auction off the Lambo and then take the proceeds and give it to a charity. So you get a 2-for-1. The excitement of the auctioning off of the Lambo from the very rich, and then it profits the very poor.
You know what? No, I'm taking a bet. Not give away a Lambo. Give away like 20 BMWs.
It's not rocket science.
That's what we do.
No. This one
That's what we do.
is we are reading Richard's word. What does it mean?
What does it mean?
The word of the Lord. Yes.
It means nothing. It's an announcement of a joke. No expectations.
Continue.
We have no expectations, but I just don't get it.
So we got the anger here, right? And then depression, and then the price keeps going lower. And you get the deeper depression.
Okay.
And wrecked. And you have to imagine this is going to be the hex chart over the next 5 years.
Cryptomatic
Rector.
Ultimate wreck. You get more angrier, yeah.
Ultimate
rector. And no, it keeps going. Annihilation.
Cretaceous Paleogen. Extinction event.
And this is actually 0 then. It reached 0.
Very funny, but also shows me that you didn't understand one word that I was saying.
15%. I was thinking Hextech
34% discount.
Somebody said 50% on one of their streams this week. I was like, no, it's not 50%. Like,
and it is all you got to do to get your PulseCon tickets is go to DS369 as the code discount code, and you'll get your 5% off.
15%. That's all you get. But you get value. That's bigger than the 50%.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys seen the website. It's pulsecon2022.com. I mean, we got a good lineup of people. Yeah. You know, it's funny because a lot of people are talking like, oh, what if what if PulseChain doesn't drop before PulseCon and blah, blah, blah. No, dude, it's already set in motion. Everything's going great. We have a lot of people outside of the Pulse and Hex community that are coming. So
it's the pre-Pulse that's most exciting.
It always is, Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, I was using Richard Hart's reference for the name of Pulse, but
we got a lot of people. I don't know if you saw. Also, we got a lot of people from the NFT community that they're coming out. It's interesting. There's Moonwalker.club. There's Hilt, HILT. It's the guys that do the crypto kiosks. The ATM machines, they're our sponsors now. Who else like outside of the Pulse Hex community? The GBA, the Government Blockchain Association is going to be there.
Wow.
They're coming out in a big way. They bought about a block of 200 tickets already. So it's just interesting how there's a lot going on in the crypto world. A lot. There's a real estate. They're coming. Also, they're going to do a real estate panel, because there's a lot of people asking about buying property with crypto, and the real estate agents, right? That association, they want standards. They want to know, how to deal with crypto and do these transactions.
By the way, guys, we have a solution for that. So just want to throw that out there. We have a solution that settles in cash instantly with any crypto paid. Already done deal. We're doing some brokerage deals right now with some companies out of Arizona, and it's the technology exists, guys. So we're going to see a lot more real estate transaction deals going on thanks to that. So yep. Well, I'm really excited about that because I'm a big real estate guy. I'm getting invested with some real estate syndication deals, some big 100 and 1,000 door deals right now. And if any of you guys are accredited investors, I can help you guys get in the door on that too, because I know a lot of you guys want that cash flow, and some of you guys want that outside of crypto, and we can do that, guys. We can help you out with that. But yeah, what Team Money is talking about is a lot of people in that space. When we were at Limitless, when the captain and I were at Limitless, it was amazing how many of those real estate guys are like absolutely infatuated with crypto. So it's a great opportunity for us to merge these worlds. So glad to hear that you were going to have some guys speaking at the panels at PulseCon. That's awesome, man. I think that's great.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to. I tweeted out to I guess he's the founder of Boxable last night.
Oh yeah,
kind of trolled him, but I hit up Power City and the tweet and everything like that. We're all amateurs.
It's funny. It's funny, Hextech, because I had a buddy that got into crypto in 2016 with me, and he's still swimming in all the crap. And he's even seen me succeed with Hex and the Richard Hart ecosystem. And I'm like, dude, when are you gonna get wise and stop listening to these Tika Tawaris of the world and these guys that lost their securities licenses for shady business deals? Right. When are you gonna stop listening to these guys, the guys that sell you the information, and just go with the people that have actually done well in this space? So I don't know.
Makes sense.
I think some people
Too much sense.
they just don't get it. They just would rather play the game of hard knocks. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but we'll just keep onboarding them one at a time while we can. So yeah. You Hexicans doing a great job out there. Way to be trending right now. You guys are amazing.
I think it was the Richard Hart aspect. I think it was some outrageous marketing because I was on the Worst Damn Crypto show earlier, and I think it was last week now, or maybe it was first part of this week. And so we made a joke. I was showing them a Rolex I was looking at, and I'm like, I've been looking at this thing for like 6-8 months. And so I posted on Twitter, I'm like, if I get 70 likes, like, I'll buy this Rolex. So Famous went and tweeted it out and stuff. And like, it went up to like 73, 76. I'm like, okay, well, I have to do it now. And I'm like, I think this guy, he has materialist aspects. My aspects are a lot different. They're not materialistic, but I was like, I honestly thought in my head, I'm like, let me do some outrageous marketing stuff. Like, let me just go like try this on a local level instead of like a public, because I'm not that big. I'm a small fish. And I think that's kind of like he didn't really believe me, until the fact that I'm like, yeah, bro, like just, and it doesn't mean anything. And I like the fact that they do hold their value. I did a lot of research from Richard's post about, certain aspects that hold value over time. So, I'm not worried about like the investment. I could give a poop about the watch personally.
No, it's about coming out and meeting the community firsthand. And you never know the relationships that you can forge, and you never know what doors it will open for you. And that's what being in a bear market is all about, is digging down deep. And you have two investments to make. You have your financial investments and you have your self investments to make. And what are you doing to invest in yourself? Invest in the community around you. If you're finding that the situations you're in are not working for you, find another aspect that you can block, cancel, delete. But turning into the FN Hangout on Fridays, like, this is a good time. And this is where you can regather your sense of community. You have so many brilliant minds on this panel that you could tune in and ask any question. And not a single one of these individuals, I could feel like I can safely say this. Thank you. Would ever turn you away for any question that you ever had. And no question is too simple. That's what we're all here for.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel the Hex and Pulse community is the best informed and educated community in crypto, bar none. We know not your keys, not your crypto. You'll be surprised how many people don't know just that one fact. They don't know. They don't know that one fact.
Yeah.
And they give their keys away all the time to other exchanges
and they're all failing right now.
Yeah,
right.
Right. And so like I love the bear market. This is my third cycle of bear market because it's kind of like the tide goes down, right? All the tide goes down, and you can see who's naked underneath, right? Who's not wearing swimming trunks?
Who is swimming without trunks? Yeah,
that's right. And you're like, wow, that's a good one, right? And so it's really interesting to see people that you thought that were like, or organizations that thought, or coins or tokens that you thought that were solid, and they're not. They're not.
Can I give you guys some speculation why I think Pulse is taking so long? And I don't think it's him trying to time the bottom. This is just
go ahead, Kinetics.
I haven't been listening to any of the other streamers out there. I've been too busy with the things that we're trying to build this vertical integration. So I quite honestly may have been said by someone else at this point, but quite honestly, I got off the phone with a cybersecurity specialist today who we were talking about working with our bank, and they have their own specialized network that isn't. So he talks about the reason why the internet is not secure is when you're building something with software, you can't add security after the fact. You have to build it with security in mind at the time of building it. And the internet was not built with security in mind. So you're trying to patch security on top of the internet. There's better ways to do this. There's private networks, different things, I won't bore you guys with the details, but we started talking about bridges. And I think the holdup for this is you look at $100 million disappears off of Harmony One, 600 million off the Ronin bridge from the Ethereum blockchain. All these hacks, the Polygon attack that almost cost them $1.4 billion, but the developers got to it before the hackers did. I think, honestly, they are trying to find a more bulletproof bridge coding right now. That is my speculation. My speculation is, I think if based upon the things that Richard Hart has said in the past, where he says we would rather, we want to launch it at the perfect timing, but it's more important to launch early than it is to launch perfectly. I think he's 100% correct. Obviously, you want something to launch perfected, and I think that's what he's really waiting for. I don't think he's trying to time the bottom like so many other people have stated. So.